So, today we're gonna talk about ship and equipment. First of all, which guns do I use? There are two types of setups for 5th rates and 4th rates. You can use medium/long guns or carronades. Now, the difference between a normal gun and a carronade is the amount of crew you need for the guns. So I'm looking at a Leopard, a Trinco, and a Redoutable. The Redoutable is class 3, so she has no carronades on the lower decks, and you could always just fit it on the top deck, on the upper deck. So you can choose between medium or long guns, depending on how much crew do I have. Do I want to use both sides? If I put long guns on the lower and the middle, I would also use long guns on the upper. If you're PvE, you may use carronades, but I always use the upper gun deck to test shots. So if I push empty, I can see where is my trajectory. If I use carronades on the upper and longs on the lower decks, the gun trajectory will be far away from each other. On the Trinco, because of she has 50 guns and she has 500 crew, 480, 400. So 50 guns on 400 crew, I would use mediums or longs. Why? The Trinco is a hunter. She's fast. I mean, I built her slower, but she is fast. 11.55 is a pretty fast ship. She doesn't churn that good. I mean, even though she has a really good turn rate, it doesn't work that way because if you're faster, the turn rate is a little bit... She's a little bit 3-leg, so I would try it out in combat to know how it turns. The Leopard, on the other hand, is a little bit slower. About 1 knot slower, based. Because of the minus, if you count everything together, she's about a knot slower. She has a turn rate of 3, so she's a little bit sheer. She turns slow, but it's a normal turn rate for a 4th rate. That's a bad turn rate for 5th rate. What does all that mean? If I use a Leopard 4th rate, she's a carronade. 42, 42, 32. So that's 46, 52 guns. On 550 crew. Plus bonus. You can use both sides if you fit it all with carronades. You can fit a Trinco with carronades, but she's more like a long gunner. If I look at the Diffrent, make her up. She's a carronade boat. The Indifat 5 with also 400 crew. She is a little bit faster than the Trinco because of the woods used, but normally the Trinco would be a little bit faster. She turns a little bit better. And she can use 42 pounds. So the Trinco can use 32. They're the same class, both class 5. Both use mostly the same amount of crew. She has 42 pounders and mostly the same amount, a little bit less than the Trinco. And the Trinco could just use 32 pounders. And so I always use as front and rear. Front would be mostly a long gun by my standard. To hunt down something, you can use chains on the front guns to go through all 3 or even 4 sails. If you count the front sail with it, you can go through the back sail. So the maximum amount 1, 2, so the back one, 1 square, 2 square, 3 square, and the front one. If you got a good trajectory, you can get a 5 out of it. But mostly you will get a 4 or 3. 2 guns, you won't sail shock them, but you will kill a lot of HP from the sail. On the back gun, you can decide between long guns or carronades as defensive measure. If you're fleeing, you can use chains on the back to get away and slow down your enemy. On the books, I always try to get instructional cannoneers because it's cannon crew minus 3.5%. So, and then you can use like old flag officer is horizontal dispersion, or like there are a lot of gun things. But Instructional Cannoneers is one of my top picks. It's the first book I always put on a boat because it helps on the upgrades. I like Congreve sights or even Pellet sights because it reduces the dispersion. I like British gunners because they reduce the crew amount you need and it's not that expensive. And then I just put in something. British rig is sailing crew, so it does save me some crew. And muskets, just because I thought, okay, I don't have anything now that I really like there, so I put it on. I mean, it's 1,000 reels and I can always delete it. Here I got light blocks and ropes on it. So sailing crew -6. Carpenters are always a good idea if you go for bigger things and need a little bit more repairing. This one was fitted out for me, so it's cannon penetration and cannon damage. Carriages, it's HP and penetration. And the Cartagena caulking, one of the best upgrades, is armor sickness +10, leak -4 mast, and all armor HP and hit points. So it's pretty much all around defensive upgrade. My redoubtable is at the moment not fitted out. So Now let's look at the guns. £18 medium guns, £9 medium guns, and here is £42 carronades. The top one is £32. So, what's the difference? £42. The reload is 60 seconds, the base damage is 26, but the maximum range would be around 400 meters with full penetration of a 110. The dispersion is pretty high with 13 meters per 100 meters. So if I am 100 meters away from the enemy, it would be from my aiming point 13 meters up, down, left and right. That's a lot. 13 meters are enough that you go below the ship, above the ship, but it's not enough to be like you go in front of, behind the ship. But the first and last shot may be enough to go outside of the box. It's mostly the horizontal dispersion that you're caring about, not the vertical dispersion. So if you get upgrades that kill percentages of horizontal dispersion, do it. I wouldn't fight it above 100 meters, to be fair, because of dispersion. You know, if I go 150, it's 13 meters plus 50%, so it goes really, really bad. The medium guns. They're a little bit better. They have a vertical dispersion of 10 meters, but just 8 meters of horizontal. So I would use them up to 150, 200 meters, because then you will go into bounds where you're not able to hit for sure. Now the long guns. So about the damage, I don't have a 42-pound medium gun, but it would be an 18-pounder here. If I use a medium gun, it would be a base damage of 18, so now it's a base damage of 26, so it does make more damage. It is... was it? Maybe it's even 1 pound more. Oh, it's 32 pound. I don't have a 32 pound to show you, but I can put up an information. 32 pound medium gun. Navy. Medium? Medium. 32. So the base damage is higher. It's 7 crew and a reload of 65 seconds. The 42-pound carronade just needs 5 crew and reloads in 60 seconds. So it's 2 crew more times 22. And here you would have 24 pounders. So on the middle deck you would lose more damage, and it's 1 more crew, so it stacks up. The crew you need stacks up fast. Don't underestimate like 50 or 70 people. And that's with medium guns. If I go to long guns, I don't think that there are. So 32-pound long gun. The base damage 33. So 3 less than the medium. Dispersion is way better, it's halved, so 6 meters. But it's 8 crew, so 3 per gun, times 22 is 66. Now we go to the 24-pounder long guns, 7 crew, so 48 crew plus the 66, 114, and the upper 100 more people just on the guns. And I have 278, I think, on the guns at the moment. So it would be like 400 all around. And then you need people repairing and you need people on the sails. So I would not be able to shoot both sides if I put long guns on it. I don't know if medium is the same, but I can guarantee that if I put long guns on it, I'm not able to fit all crew everywhere and shoot both sides. What's the Trinco different? So I could put 32 pounders on it. 32-pound carronades. The Trinco is made to hunt. So if I'm crisscrossing behind the enemy and he gets a little bit of range, I want to be able to hit him. And she has the cannons, the crew to work with mediums or even long guns. And she halves the gun type. You could fit her out with carronades. It works. I did it. It's pretty fun. Depending on what you like. And she can fit all the crew on the guns. I don't know if it's the same for long guns, but she can, at least with mediums. So, I wouldn't mix the gun type. So I wouldn't do lower mediums and middle carronades because of trajectory. Something more. Long guns do need longer to reload. The fastest are carronades, then mediums, then longs. This 42-pound carronade needs 60 seconds, and this 12-pound long gun already needs 57. So they're close together, even though it's like the carronade is much bigger in the caliber. The carronade does less damage per caliber than a medium or a long gun. They can't use double shot or double charge. So the idea is, if you're PvEing, why use long guns? I wouldn't use them. They reload slower. They do, let's see, base damage by a 12-pounder. I think it was a little bit less. It's 12. And the it's 1 per pound, so it would be the same. Would be 9 and 9. So they're doing the same amount of damage. You need more crew. It's 4 crew of a 9-pound long and 4 crew of a 9-pound medium, so there it wouldn't make a difference. But if we go to the bigger guns, so like an 18-pound long, it's 6 crew and in medium is 5 crew. So on a Trinco you could use long guns. Totally fine, because 9-pounders, same amount of guys. And here it's just one guy more. So 28 guys more on the guns. No issue there with using long guns. Same for like a frigate is a gunboat for mediums or longs. The which ship it was. I need to look up ships. So let's see. Frigate, Renomy, Balpool are gunships. Indifat, Hercules, Leopard are carronade boats. It depends on the amount of guns. It depends on what you can fit in gun caliber and carronade caliber, and also on your preference. So if you prefer to be a little bit further away and don't brawl that much, you would fit mediums or longs. If you want to go close in and just get them fire, then you would fit carronades, go close, put them down. I like to brawl. I like to use carronades. I love carronades because it's my playstyle to go in close and just get them down. And that concludes guns and setups.